A trailblazer is defined as one who makes a path for others to follow. My guest tonight played the game her way, torching opposing teams and redefining the sport of women's basketball forever. Cheryl Miller combined her extraordinary athletic gifts with an unmatched competitive mindset to become a four-time All-American, win 2 NCAA titles, and bring home the first Olympic gold medal in women's basketball to the United States. But before USC retired her number 31, did you know she hustled 2-on-2 games with her younger brother Reggie, once scored 105 points in a single high school game, showed off her skills at the Grammy Awards. Tonight, we'll learn what makes this undeniable icon who she is, a woman who once said, "Dare to be different." Please welcome Hall of Famer Cheryl Miller.
All right.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. Woo! That's what I'm talking about. Hey, give a hand. This is I made it.
You finally made it.
I made it.
Cheryl Dean. You know, for the longest time, I thought your middle name was really Dean. And it's Deanne.
It's Deanne.
But your brother would always say, Cheryl Dean. Cheryl Dean.
Cheryl Dean.
Why did it go from Deanne to Dean?
Because he can't spell. No, it just, that was his nickname for me, and it just stuck. So it's always been Cheryl Dean.
Riverside, California, what is home life like for Cheryl Miller?
So if you ever watched Mayberry, you know, the Andy Griffith Show, we were Mayberry back in Riverside.
Really?
Oh, it was, you could ride your bike up and down till midnight. My dad and my mom did a great job. Thank God my mom was a registered nurse, because it came in handy. But yeah, we played basketball, we played baseball, and yeah, it was it.
Tell me about your dad, Saul. Musician, basketball player?
He ran a tight ship.
But did you like that? Need that?
I needed that. I think all of us needed that because of the climate. It was, you know, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, yes, sir, no, sir. And my dad was the type of person that he would, because, you know, it got tight financially. So as a musician, you know, in the military, he would go off at jazz clubs and make extra money.
What kind of music's he playing?
Miles Davis, the whole, you know, work with all these jazz legends and...
Who did he work with?
Everybody.
Coltrane?
Coltrane, big time.
Oh, wow.
And so, but we never knew that. We never knew that side because my dad was like, I'm in the military and everything, but he would do that whole thing. And this is what I loved about my dad. And you know what? I think it's hard sometimes looking at the dynamics of, you know, a dad and a mom, is somebody's got to end up not being the bully, but being the taskmaster and being the one who's not liked. And my dad wasn't liked a lot of times, but if I ever came home, or any of us ever came home and said, hey, Dad, you know what? I'm being bullied, or I'm being this, Dad was already there.
Okay, so he's the taskmaster.
Yes.
Mom is?
Mom was like, Mom, I need you. Like, Mom was the nurturer, but my mom had a gentle side to her and a softness to her, and a gift of gab. And you wonder why I'm on your show right now.
Yes. I was wondering that you weren't afraid to show emotion. You played with emotion, but you got that from your mom more than your dad?
Yeah, it was, if you're gonna do something in life, do it passionately. You know, and some people may not be like that, but if you're gonna do anything, be your best. Be your best. Don't be afraid. And there's no such thing as failure unless you don't put your best foot forward. And that's what my mom instilled in this.
But also, are you trying to get Dad, do you understand Dad's love if you're playing basketball? Like there's a connection there?
Oh,
did you understand that?
No, I understand the discipline. I understand. Now, and look, I love my mom and the pom-poms. Here we go. Here we go. Yeah. But you had to have a discipline and a game plan, and that's what he instilled in me as well. And I think I have, and I'm blessed to have that balance.
When did basketball take on importance in the household?
Early on for me, and for my brother Reggie, is because my two older brothers, Saul Jr. and Daryl, would have their friends over. And I remember really early on not being able to play because of my older brothers, but what they would do, if the ball went, over the hedges or something like that, then they're like, go get it. And I get to run and jump over the hedges, break my neck, get it, dribble back, and pass it to him. And I thought that was the greatest thing. Dan, I thought it was the greatest thing. I got the dribble, and Reggie and I would, we would, exchange times and whatnot. And it wasn't until my brothers would go off with their friends that Reggie and I started playing. And all of a sudden, it was easy to shoot. It was easy to dribble.
Who taught you to shoot?
Wasn't Reggie. I just think that it just came natural. And I don't know when and how it happened, Dan, that I love to play.
Why did it mean so much to you?
Because people told me I couldn't do it.
That's what motivated you?
Absolutely. Absolutely. My brothers would bring their friends over and, their little brothers and everything else. And it became this competition where I bet you my sister can beat, your little brother. And I would play and everything else. And then when I won, we would walk down probably maybe 2-3 miles to Dairy Queen, and I would get a Buster bar. I'm like, this is just good. This is, oh Lord, if I keep winning, Buster bars for everybody. So.
Your dad rode you pretty hard, though.
Yeah, Dad.
Did you understand why?
No, and it wasn't until I was 13 years old, and there was an article in the newspaper. She's 13 and she could play. And that's when I think my relationship with my dad changed.
But how did it change, though? What did he do?
I want to be honest with you guys. I'm not going to say that he wasn't critical, but he was very observant, and everything had to be matter of fact. Everything had to be to a certain degree. He inserted himself. And I'm glad he did, because he kept a lot of people away from me that probably didn't have my best interests at heart. But he also kept a lot of people away that would have made my life normal.
You got attention in the family, and it's hard to do when you've got older brothers.
Mm-hmm.
Did you understand that too? That I was viewed differently, treated differently, looked upon differently?
Well, that was a wonderful thing and blessing for me with my two older brothers, is they were able to buffer my dad a little bit. Like, back off, otherwise she's gonna quit. If you keep pushing her, she's gonna quit on you. So that was a good thing for me.
But don't you think your dad realized something special in you?
He did.
And didn't want that to go to waste?
He did. And I love my dad to death, because all I wanted to do was just play basketball. That's all I wanted to do. And the main thing with him, because we weren't a wealthy family, if you could get a scholarship, that was like the goal, and get an education. He just didn't want me to lose sight of that.
January 27th, 1982, here's the evening news.
It was unbelievable until last night in Riverside, California. The game broke 8 national and state records, and the winning team's best player got 105 points.
Yes!
Why didn't you pass the ball?
Do you know how many assists I had? I didn't play the last 2 minutes of the game. Can you imagine the damage I could have done? Come on, Dan. No, it was, but I wasn't the only one scoring. I wasn't the only one scoring.
You scored 105.
I had a teammate who had 39. Really? Come on.
Now, here's the bad part.
Oh, yeah.
Poor Reggie Miller
Yeah.
thought he had an unbelievable game.
Which he did.
What did Reg have? 38 in a game. Reg comes
Great
home.
game.
Yes. Unbelievable game. Same day. Reg comes home very proud.
Patting his chest.
And what happens when he tells everybody he had 38?
Well, we kind of met up, and he's like, Dean, you won't believe what kind of game I had. You won't believe what kind of game I had. I'm like, oh, come on. He's like, well, how'd your game go? I said, we won, but what did you do? Oh. I dropped 38. I was like, oh. Shut your mouth. 30. I'm so proud of you. That is. Seriously, Reg? He's like, yeah, I was feeling it. I'm like, yeah.
You let him have his moment.
More than a moment. And he goes, so how did your game go? What did you do? How did you score? I said, He's like, Cheryl, how much did you have, Dean? Tell me. And I go, 105. And he ran in the house going, Mom! I can't beat her! And yeah, but he did well.
He did. He did. When did you know you were good?
Never thought I was good enough.
Really?
Yeah.
Why? Because nobody told you?
Maybe there was a lack of belief.
Did you need that almost insecurity to motivate you?
I never knew where I wanted that affirmation, you know? You know, that atta girl, like, oh, you're so, this.
Did your dad give it to you?
At times. At times. It was a give and take. Because if he did this, hey, so proud of you, you knew on the backside is, get your shots up, I remember scoring in high school 77 points and walking to the car with my dad and him saying, you could have had 80. If you made your free throws, you'd had 80. I'm like, okay. But it was never, so that driving force, as much as it motivated me, in a way also crippled me because I never thought I was that good of an athlete. And I love my father, do anything for him. Do I wish things would have been different, Dan? Absolutely.
What did you want?
To be a kid.
Missed out on a childhood?
Missed out on being a kid. And what I wanted, whether win, lose, draw, and everything else, I just wanted to come home, have some Kool-Aid, bologna sandwich, and not hear on the drive drive home, what I didn't do, what I could have done, it was just, and in your head, you're always thinking when you just want to just decompress and relax. But with that being said, it motivated me.
250 colleges recruit you?
Something like that.
Something like that. And you decide that you're going to go to USC.
Mm-hmm.
What did it come down? So USC won.
Yeah.
What school was second?
The other school.
So UCLA was second?
Yeah.
And this was being compared to the recruitment of Lou Alcindor, who became Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Mm-hmm. That's how big this was.
If Lou would have been there, I'd have been at UCLA. But there's only two reasons why I went and chose USC, and Pam and Paula McGee. Pam and Paula McGee were twins. And I remember Paula was here, Pam was here. And there was enough space on the couch, so I didn't understand why they were sitting so close. I'm like, what the, And they said.
And they're about 6'4", 6'5"?
6'4".
Yeah.
6'4" twins. And they said, you could play 2 years with us, or 2 years against us. I was like,
where do I sign?
and that was it. And, you know, Linda Sharp, the coach and everything else, but Pam and Paula, they were very convincing. So I was like, yeah, it was good.
What are your goals at this point?
Survive. Win. Just
Championships?
win.
Are you thinking championships, All-American?
I just want to win. No, it wasn't All-American. It wasn't all this because coming out of high school as a 4-time All-American. So adding on to that didn't matter to me. Winning a championship, great. But looking ahead, we were looking at Louisiana Tech, 2-time defending champs.
What did Dad say before the title game? You got any advice?
Well, he was there, and I was scared to death. Scared to death. And
take your time.
Dan, I didn't want to let him down. Because if I lost, that I was going to let him down. And that scared me more. Thanks, boss. That scared me more than...
It's a lot of pressure to take into a title game with enough pressure already on you.
Yeah, that scared me more than losing. Because I never wanted to let him down. And what was hard for me, that the person that I wanted there the most was my mom. And we couldn't afford the ticket, so he was there.
This is how that title game turned out.
Oh, sweet.
Southern Cal 30-2 in the year. Louisiana Tech 31-1. Cheryl Miller driving on Jennifer White, pulls up short. Side to Pam McGee, the jump shot taken by Fletcher. Cheryl Miller with the rebound. That'll give you an idea of her strength. Miller will take that shot all day and make it. 25 points for Cheryl Miller, and USC has come back all the way and taken the lead. 1 second. It's all over, and Southern Cal has won the national championship.
What are you thinking? There's that emotion.
Man, I was like, sweet Jesus, we actually won. So, wow, can you put a shot where
I showed a couple of jumpers.
No, me passing?
You didn't pass.
The other Miller never passed. I passed.
You averaged 3 assists per game back then, just to let you know. It was kind of hard to find one of your assists, Cheryl.
Wow, that's
Did your dad say he was proud of you?
I remember him hugging me, like really, really close. And it reminded me of when I was like 5 or 7 on Christmas Day, where you hug your dad, you know? He never said that he was proud. He said congratulations. But I knew he was proud. I knew he was proud. Nothing had to be said.
You win the national championship, and then you're playing for the national team, and then you have the World Basketball Championships. So the USSR is there, waiting for you. What do you remember about the build-up to that showdown with, at the time, the best basketball team in the world?
Mind you guys, they had, and I believe her name was Uliana Simonova.
7-foot center.
7'2". And I'm not talking about like our traditional 7-footers. I'm talking about from here all the way up. Didn't speak, you know, any English or anything else, but she's like, oh, no, no, no. Oh, no, 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 no.
Wait, was she doing Matumbo before Matumbo?
Yeah, but it was deeper, and it was scary. Oh, no, 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 no. Wasn't very mobile, but I'm telling you, if you went in there, something bad was going to happen. Something bad was going to happen.
And they dominated for a 30-year.
Oh, it's like 30,
30
40,
years.
50 years and
Yeah,
everything
30 years.
You couldn't beat them. You couldn't beat them.
What did you know about that team going into that matchup?
Back in the day, they were together since they were like 4. So they built their team from 4 years old all the way up until they were 92. You know, where we assembled our team, you had 16, 17, 18, maybe the oldest might be 20 or something like that. So you were always playing against a machine.
And grown women.
They were grown-ass women. They weren't grown women, they were grown-ass women. And, hold up, seriously? And I ain't gonna lie y'all about this one. It was the first time I've ever seen it. Because you would travel from certain things in Moscow and everything else, and you would be on the bus with them, and they would be back there on the back of the bus. We're going to beat the Americans again. And I'm like, chain smoking. I'm like, these sweet. I said, Coach, they smoking. They're like, just keep your eyes front. I'm like, okay.
At the time, you got the United States versus the USSR. I mean,
Oh, it was huge.
This is real.
And it was huge. It was huge because we had never beaten them. They were the predominant, like, female world champion and everything else.
But how personal is it to you to beat them?
It was huge for me. Number one, I hate losing. And number two, the national pride. I'm like, oh, we're going to take them down.
But you guys lost at the buzzer.
Well, that was my fault. I ain't going to lie about that one.
Was it?
Yeah, it was my fault. Because we had them, and one of their shooters, they ran a play, and I was late on the rotation. Bam. And you're just looking at everybody, and they're like, dang, dang.
What did you learn from that loss?
Humility. Know your opponent. And make sure the next time you face them, you come with no fear.
Did you have fear going into that game?
Oh, absolutely. You don't look at somebody who's 7'12" and not be fearful.
All right, 1984. All of a sudden, USC basketball was must-see TV. That you're setting attendance records. Like, this is a big deal.
We did all right.
Right? You have to move off campus. You're at the sports arena.
Yep,
Are you out drawing the men's team?
big time. Like we would literally run on the court and slap the guys like, hey, way to warm it up for us.
You go to the finals again.
Yeah,
Facing Tennessee. You were named the MVP.
I was fortunate.
Second time, so you got back-to-back titles.
Yeah.
Back-to-back MVPs. So that takes you into the '84 Olympics. Home Olympics. Big deal. Except
Huge
for the USSR is not there. How disappointing was that? As high a level as you're playing, you got the taste of playing them.
We had everything assembled to sit up there and kick their like, seriously, like take it at them and everything else. And then when that was taken away from us, yeah, it was a huge disappointment. But I was still happy. I'm at home in LA. But when you get a chance to go against a champion, you want that. You want that, you know, because you're going to test, you know, either you're going to fail or you're going to succeed. And that's what we wanted. We wanted a showdown in our backyard. And when that didn't happen, yeah, it was disappointing. Very disappointing.
They end up reaching the finals, United States versus South Korea, and this is how the gold medal game ended up.
We're coming to the gold medal game for the women. Cheryl Miller has been unquestioned star of this American team. She has come in as a junior from University of Southern California. That's off the glass. Bad shot. Pass ahead. McGee on a break from Miller. Good.
Miller, what she is doing so well right now defensively, Miller just takes it right to the hoop. She's not afraid to go inside and draw those fouls.
The game is over. The United States women have won the medal in basketball 85-55 over Korea.
Thank you.
Big deal.
Huge deal. The Olympics, is the one time, it's not about UCLA, SC, whomever, and all that kind of stuff. Man, we're Americans. Red, white, black, white, all that kind of stuff. I get a chance to represent you guys and do it the right way, and to have the fortune to win an Olympic medal. And when you see that banner and everything else, man, you feel like you're winning a medal for everyone in your community, everyone across the board, and that's why it meant so much.
Was Mom there?
Yes, Mom and Dad and Reginald. It was one of the rare times. There you are, hey, Mom!
Putting that around Mom, how'd that feel?
Really? No, it's one of, oh, now you want to grab me a tissue. Working my nerves. It's one of the few times that my mom, because it was always my dad with me and my mom with Reggie, but having everybody together and actually watching me play, having that medal, when I put it around her, she said, "Mama Pearl, I'm so proud of you. And you're everything that a mom could want in a daughter."
I might need a Kleenex right now.
And
Holy shit, Cheryl.
yeah.
Why'd you do this to me?
Being able to see that smile on my mom's face and watch the games. And I think they tried to interview her, and she's like, "Oh, I'm not the talkative type." I'm like, "Since when?"
Next year, you're on the cover of Sports Illustrated.
Yeah. Yeah. Life changed for me. Like,
With that cover?
yeah.
Why?
Because I felt that now I couldn't be normal. I had to be a celebrity. I had to be on. I had to, I couldn't be a college student, ride my bicycle and do like certain things because I was quote unquote Cheryl Miller. And contrary to popular opinion, I'm a very shy person. Very, very shy person.
You got to sign autographs. Now you're a celebrity on campus.
That's hard because as a college student, you want to be what? A college student. I think that's when my life shifted like that, that's when I think, Dan, I really learned how to find a way to keep a piece of me, a piece of me here. Now, what other people may think I am, but this is my core. This is who I am.
1985. I don't know if you guys were distracted or not, but it's not a good year at USC.
No, it's a horrible year.
Yeah.
It's a horrible year.
How much blame do you take as the leader?
All of it.
Yeah.
All of it. I think number one for me, and I didn't realize this, is as a top player of the team, part of your responsibility is recruiting, correct? I didn't have time to recruit. I didn't grasp, really understand that part of the selling is the school, the university, and the program. And I thought it was like it should fall on the shoulders of the head coach. No, that's not necessarily true. And I was tired. I was tired of the show. I was tired of a lot of things. I wasn't distracted. I think I was just tired. Emotionally. Physically, I was fine, but emotionally, because there's only so much you can give and dig and dig and dig, and
What changed going into 1986?
I was pissed. And it was my senior year.
You go back to the finals. and you run into the Texas Longhorns.
Yeah, sweet.
And you're looking at the premier player in women's basketball, Cheryl Miller. She's carried the banner of the sport for 4 years, a 4-time All-American, today in her final appearance, seeking her 3rd NCAA title in 4 years. Here's Cheryl Miller using a pick by Holly Ford. Can't get it, gets her own rebound and loses it. Cheryl Miller scoreless in the second half. Can't get that one. Pretty gets a rebound. And here it is. Texas has won their first national championship. Cheryl Miller, a disappointing finish to a great career.
I have not seen that. I've never watched that game. Never. And again, being honest, on your show and everything else, if you guys look on my non-shooting hand, there was a bandage. And this is 100% my fault. I got in a fist fight with my teammate and broke my finger.
Prior to the game, what were you fighting over?
Because I had to run lines because of her. But it was like, if I'm giving my all, and this means more to me than you, I'm not going to sit up here and be penalized by you. And I was barking at her a little too much. She swung, she missed, and I connected. No, it was.
How did it affect you?
It was hard to grasp the ball, shoot the ball. But you know what? To be honest, Texas, that was a bad team. They were a bad team.
Even a healthy hand, they're a better team.
Oh, no question about it. No question about it. Yeah, they were deep, fast, and we just, I think there was a spirit among some of my teammates where we were just happy to be there, and that wasn't me. And when you're a senior and this is your last year, you can't will people to want it as much as you.
1986 Goodwill games. So Ted Turner has a relationship with the Soviet Union, and you missed out playing USSR in the 84 games. So now you get your chance, national team, going to play in the Goodwill games, and your chance for this showdown with the USSR. How important is that?
It's like somebody turned back the hands of time. It's my moment. Vengeance.
Reggie said that every morning it was beat the Russians. Every morning you came down for breakfast, there was something said about beating the Russians.
Captain Crunch, beat the Russians. Oatmeal, bread, beat the Russians.
Was he trying to motivate you? Did he need to motivate you?
Yeah, I think he did. I was scared.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Why?
I was scared coming on your show. I was scared, every time I stepped on the floor.
Fear of what?
Failure.
So how do you combat your nerves?
Prayer and practice.
Like once the game starts, you're not nervous?
No, that's not true.
Even during you're nervous?
No, that's not true. It wasn't until either I stole the ball, made a pass, or scored, and then that's when I could do this. All right, let's play. Bring it on, let's play. But before then, no, the nerves were too intense.
Here's the 1986 Goodwill games.
Today, the USA women's basketball team goes for the gold, but they have a high hurdle to clear. 7-footer Uliana Semenova of the Soviet Union.
The rebound, quickly they have a break opportunity, 3 against 2. Cheryl to Etheridge, Etheridge to Cheryl. Count it. The United States leads by 2. A good defensive play. Cooper, the lead pass to Edwards. She's got Cheryl on the left. She saw her. With the left hand, Yakovleva can't get it to drop Cheryl Miller. 3 against 3. And Donovan's trailing. Cheryl doesn't need her. The worst defeat ever for the Soviet Union women. The final second. And that is it. 83-60.
What does it mean to beat the Soviet Union by this kind of score? Cheryl?
There's always time for a great champion to step down and a new champion to step up, and that's us. That's the Americans. We originated basketball, and that's where it's going to stay, in the States.
Amen.
You can't help yourself.
I can't.
You can't. Can't help it. Where do you place that victory in your career achievements?
Above my gold medal. Easy.
Really?
Easy.
Why?
When you get a chance to knock the bully off, that is sweet. 84, it'd have been done and dusted had they come to Los Angeles. It'd have been a block party. But to finally do it, because I knew, Dan, I wasn't going to be able to play forever. And I don't know if that was God giving me a message, and I think everybody has an internal hourglass. I knew that was going to be my last shot.
That's your last game. Because you tear your ACL the following year in a pickup game.
Yep.
So any shot of...
I was done and dusted.
Yeah. But you knew at the time, so you had closure for your career.
I don't think any athlete ever wants to go out injured, you know, or have your career ended because of injury. Would I have liked to have, like, seen if I could play overseas, or certainly wasn't going to hang around forever for the WNBA. But yeah, I just think there's an internal clock that we all have where we know it's time to get something done. And there's an urgency.
So now, when does the NBA kind of appear on your radar?
Shoot, I think it was either my first or second year I was coaching at USC. And some way, something connects, and TNT wants to hire me as a commentator, an announcer.
It brings me to your quote. You had this during your Hall of Fame speech. Dare to be different. It's a big step. You're the first female broadcaster doing sidelines, TNT, NBA TV. What does that quote mean to you?
Well, you know what? I would love to take all that credit for that. But Dan, there's been a lot of influential women like Ann Myers, Nancy Lieberman, Lynette Woodard, from even the younger players coming up that have inspired me. My mom, who, you know, back in the day, you know, if you played sports and everything else, you were considered a tomboy. And she would say, Pearl, dare to be different. Be you. You know, follow your heart. You know, what does your gut say? And everything outside of here, don't worry about. Don't worry about. So dare to be different is something that I try to apply, you know, Dan, on a daily basis, because I'm not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. Being a head coach now, being in charge of young ladies and trying to inspire them, dare to be different. No one can tell you who you can and cannot be. Why can't you be this?
They can try.
They can be. And that's what I want them to do.
Just to give people a taste of Cheryl, this was some NBA TV where Cheryl is certainly showing her personality.
There are spooks out there. There is another level. You just don't know. I'm telling you, paranormal activity. We gotta scratch him eating. Everybody in here say, I'm sorry, three, Cheryl, on three. 1, 2, 3.
I'm sorry.
Thank you very much.
What the hell's wrong with you?
I don't know what's wrong with me.
I like how she tells, I'm really shy. I'm really shy.
I am extremely shy.
Oh, I can tell.
I am.
I can tell.
You guys make me act stupid. That's the problem.
We do.
Yes.
I'm sure they had to say, hey, Cheryl, act stupid.
Not a whole lot.
Nobody had to tell you that. 1995.
All right.
Basketball Hall of Fame. You go in with the class that includes Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Oh, I was a big fan running for it. I was like, hey, can you sign this? Yeah, it was awesome.
What was that night like?
Once I got the phone call, I was like, you gotta be kidding me.
Who do you call first?
Mom and Dad, and then Reg. And I'm like, Reg, are you kidding me? Can you believe this? Can you believe this?
How did Mom and Dad react?
Mom was like, oh, child. I knew you were gonna get that phone call, you know? And then Dad, of course, was like, it's about time. You know? And Reggie was like, Dean, congrats. I'm like, can you be there? No, we're in playoffs.
Mom and Dad show up?
That was awesome for me. But I believe for me in my heart, it was the first time my mom could sit up there and go, yeah, that's my girl. Yeah, I did this. And my dad had to take a semi-back seat. And this was her moment. And that felt great.
Why was it her moment?
Because at every interview that I did, she was right next to me. And they were asking her questions. And she's like, oh, I don't know what I would say. Well, anyways, I was saying when I was on, you know, I was like, oh, you shy, right? You know, well, what was it like, Miss Miller? You know, Mrs. Miller, you know, raising, you know, Cheryl and everything else? Oh, she was a joy. A handful, but a joy. You know, but they got her story, you know, and for some reason, that was so important for me.
1997, WNBA.
Yep.
Coach, GM, Phoenix Mercury. It's a big deal, too. No woman had ever held those two titles at the same time.
And that was a mistake on their part, wasn't it?
What was your coaching philosophy?
First and foremost, the players that I was coaching were, a lot of the players were either the same age or I played against. So it was all about accountability. If you want to be the best, be the first one in and the last one out. Be respectful and understand that there are a lot of young, not only young girls, but young boys that are going to be watching. What message do we want to send to them?
You guys go to the finals.
Yep.
You lose to Houston, 2-1. Is there any satisfaction, even in defeat?
No,
No.
no. But I will say one thing. I will give Houston tons of credit. Great team, obviously a great team. But I hate losing. I don't know what it is about losing that I hate so much, Dan.
But you got to the finals.
Okay, that's like out of 7 numbers, you get 5, but you don't get, win the lottery.
No.
Really? Is there any satisfaction in that after paying $2? No.
Why are you yelling at me? I'm your friend.
You are my friend. That's why I
Cheryl
like
Dean?
you. That's my boy.
Okay. So, go back into broadcasting.
Yep.
Stay there. But before you're going back in 2007, Mom dies.
Yeah.
How does that affect you?
I think you guys get my personality. 100% of that is my mom. My mom was an absolute giver. And she had been sick for so long with Alzheimer's. And
They're there, but they're not there.
Man, it crushed me. It crushed me. It crushed me for a while. Where, and that's why when people talk about, or laugh about, or joke about depression, oh, I know what depression is. I couldn't get out of bed. And we were starting playoffs, and I simply called, Turner. I said, I can't do it. I can't go on air. I can't go on air. And it took me at least 3 weeks to finally get out of bed, and another 3 weeks of therapy, because I didn't understand. I knew why I was feeling the way I was feeling. I didn't know how to shake it off. I didn't know how to snap out of it. And I didn't know how to communicate. And I needed somebody to help me do so. And there's no shame in that. Because if you need help, get help.
You eventually leave TNT.
Mm-hmm.
You go back into coaching.
Yes.
What was it about coaching that brought you back?
It's about paying it forward. It's paying it forward. There are a lot of young women out there that, in my opinion, and I may be wrong, but I doubt it, and it's not just about basketball, it's about life. Not everybody's going to be able to go overseas and make money or 6 figures. Not everybody's going to be able to play in the WNBA. I need you to get your degree, get that paper. Get that paper.
Yeah.
And then and educate them on how to be successful off the court. You're going to be successful on the court because I'm your coach. You have no choice. But off the court, what I'm trying to get these young ladies to understand, do your history. That's what I love about men's basketball, because they know about all their greats and whatnot. Do your history about women's basketball and who you're playing for, who played before you, who was in your conference. Support each other.
What's next for you?
Who knows?
You're not worried?
I'm at peace. Whatever happens, good, bad, indifferent, and bad doesn't last forever.
Got some fun questions.
Oh, sweet Jesus.
In the movie about your life, who plays you?
Ooh, Beyonce. It's either Beyonce or Angela Bassett.
Okay. All right. Can Beyonce play hoops?
No, but you can fake it. That's when I come in as a double.
No, you're double.
I come in.
Biggest misconception about you is what?
Wow. That I'm arrogant.
What pisses you off?
Outside of these questions? No, that's okay.
You can return fire. You've earned it. You've earned it.
That's what I love about you.
I'm gonna make you cry again.
Please. You're right about that.
Okay.
How we treat our elderly and our homeless.
You changed women's basketball.
No, I
Yes,
didn't.
you did.
No, I didn't. No.
And you weren't just a great women's basketball player.
No.
You were a great basketball player. Cheryl Miller.